Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Quick little chatty video today, just talking you through 2025 planner lineup plans. I spoke a few months ago maybe, kind of what my initial thoughts were. Obviously you've seen what I've purchased from Japan if you've seen those videos, and so I thought I'd just put it all together with a bit of an overview of this is what I'm planning to use for 2025, talk you through what I'm already using or have set up, and then I'll probably follow up with a few in-depth videos when everything is fully set up. So there'll be like a full cousin setup video, for example, if that's kind of your favorite planner and you want to see a big deep dive of that. But today it's just very much a top line, these are all the planners that I've got, this is what I'm planning on using them for, and yeah, let's see how we go. Okay, first up we're going to talk about my Filofax. This is the personal original in burnt orange. I have not really updated this for 2025 and don't really intend to, so I'm not going to probably do a full video. I'm fairly certain I have already done one on it, so I will leave a link in the cards. But effectively this is just a bit of a reference planner really. It's got information in here that doesn't really change from year to year. So this houses things like birthdays and anniversaries and some financial bits of information, some shop stuff, you know, like sticker settings and where I get supplies from, things like that. And all I'll probably do is just have a flick through, remove any bits that aren't working for me, refresh some bits like my task list, for example, that's kind of changed up when I do things. And other than that, the only other thing is to add in this, which I purchased in Japan from Atoya. This is a cool little wine log. I do like a good wine. I am subscribed to Good Pear Days, which is a wine subscription service, and I know like the specific bottles that I like, but I'm not very good at keeping a bit of a awareness of, you know, is it certain grapes or regions that I really like. And I thought this would come in really handy to actually work out, you know, what are my actual wine preferences, other than I always go for this same bottle in the supermarket because I know I like it. And that's it for the Filofax. Not gonna spend too much on this, like I say, not really much different from year to year. Okay, next up we're going to talk weeks. So I have a weeks every year, I have done since 2018. This year though, I am going to be using it for work, so unfortunately I can't show you any of the pages because there will be sensitive information, and I have started using this from the first week able to, which I think is the first week in November, last week in November. I was previously using a daily planner, the Jibun Techo, and although it kind of initially started out well, I realised that I needed a weekly view again, and I needed just basically a running to-do list, and that's what the weeks allows me to do. I have my kind of urgent and kind of date-specific to-dos on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side I can just add tasks, add notes as and when they kind of come, and being able to see everything for the full week at a glance, I've used it before for work many years ago, and I realised that I just needed to get back to that because for my current job it is perfect. So that's kind of it in terms of the setup. Like I say, I won't be doing a full setup video because I just end up hiding all of the pages and it would be kind of useless. The only things I'm going to call out are my kind of stationery situation. So I have the Cocoa Fusion card because I tab up my notes pages, so I have a kind of page per supplier, and so I just have a catch-all page for anything that I might need to remember, any discussion points from meetings, things like that, and I color code them by supplier. And then I just have these Stalogy sticky notes. These are the kind of translucent ones, so these work really well for work because for work I will always use a Uniball, which this year I'm using the Hobonichi pen because I got 3 of them from when I made my purchase, so perfect work pen, and it works well with these because most of the time I use fountain pen in kind of home planning, which these do not work on. And that's it for the weeks. Sticking with planners that are set up and ready to go, I have my Passport TM because once again I am bringing the passport size back. I have missed it as an everyday carry, I've missed the size, I've missed everything it can actually carry in terms of pockets and things like that. So for 2025 I am back in it. I've got my very dirty looking canvas pocket now. I have a monthly calendar, the same monthly calendar as last year, it's just the Midori one. It works perfectly in, it's not branded or marketed as a Passport TN size, but it fits perfectly, and the holder it comes in has a great little pen loop. I'm also using the Uniball 1 this year because the size of it is perfect and I quite like writing with it. I have actually kept the 2024 wallet for this because the 2025 one is red and I prefer the matchy of this. And then the only other thing that I have done a little bit differently in kind of hopes of changing this up and making it work for me this year is I have gone for the weekly pages. So I've not fully kind of set up how I'm going to be using these in comparison to my main planner. I think this will just be relevant kind of tasks that I need to know out of the house and events and things like that. But then I thought it would also be really good for my expenses tracking so that I can just make a note of them on the day they happen and then do kind of full budget planning in a separate planner. I also think this will be really handy for kind of forward planning because having a planner that I'm not going to be kind of setting up and making pretty and things like that will be really handy if I just need to jot a task that I know I'm going to need to do on this day, for example. I can just scruffily write it in here and not really care about it being super neat or super lovely. And so I think this will be really useful from that perspective because I always kind of forget about the pre-planning part of planning sometimes, particularly if I am decorating planners and making it look pretty. I then kind of end up with sticky notes everywhere of like to-do lists and things that I then need to effectively migrate into the planner, whereas if I've just got somewhere I can actually commit to paper, then hopefully pre-planning or just making a note of things that I'll need to know in the future will be a little bit easier. That's the idea anyway. And yeah, I'll do a full kind of setup video on this probably once I've ironed out how exactly I'm going to be using the weekly pages, so possibly sometime in January. If there's anything specific you want to know about Passport TN or about my setup, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure I add it to the video. Okay, moving on to my Hobonichi A6 or Hobonichi Original. This is a new addition for this year. It will probably be like my third or fourth time of attempting an A6 size. This time around, I'm hoping it's going to stick. The thoughts for this are twofold. Number one, I'm going to move my scrapbooking into here rather than a standard TN. I'm still going to do holiday scrapbooking in the TN, so I have these inserts for next year for the standard, so big holidays can get scrapbooked in here, but just from a kind of day-to-day, you know, we had a nice dinner, things like that, I figured having something like this would be really helpful rather than taking up, you know, a whole page in a standard TN. This is quite a small page size, which means I can kind of put the picture and write a little bit about the day or something like that, or add a bit of decoration, and it's, you know, a little less pressure, I guess. But also I want to experiment with doing a bit of day-to-day journaling as well, so not necessarily, you know, doing a big kind of Dear Diary type thing, but just a little bit of, I don't even really know, I think this will evolve over time, but you know, just getting creative. I've not really done a huge amount of creative in the past year. I've been quite busy with work, so I kind of just want to have something that I can just spend, you know, 10 minutes of an evening relaxing before bed, playing with stickers, washi, drawing, whatever it might be, maybe a bit of writing thoughts, feelings, what happened in the day, but just, yeah, something. And that's kind of the goal with this, and that's also why I went for the Avec, so that if it bulked up it wouldn't be too horrific to carry on writing in, because that's one thing about the cousin is, you know, you get to a certain point through the year and writing on kind of the thick part of the book gets really annoying, and I don't want anything that will feel like a barrier to me using this throughout the year. So hopefully the Avec won't get too chunky and won't reach that point where I feel like I can't write in it properly. We'll see. Got a pencil board and the Tragan cover. So this is partly to help with the kind of scrapbooking element, so I can just collect ephemera and tickets and pictures and whatever and kind of keep them in here, and then kind of keep a few maybe decorative bits in here, so that I can just kind of grab this, sit down, do a bit of kind of scrapbooking, like journaling, whatever, and kind of all together in terms of what I need, which is one thing that I did like about my standard TN, which I used this year. I had a pocket with it, so canvas pocket in here that kind of kept all of the bits together that I was going to be using for the scrapbooking, so I wanted something that would help me with that, and that's the plan. that's the A6. I will probably do a full setup video probably a few weeks in, once I've kind of got it sorted how I'm actually going to be using this on a day-to-day basis, so that will be coming soon. And finally, we are on to the Hobonichi Cousin. So I've ticked every single size box of Hobonichi for next year, and this will be my main planner. I do enjoy the weeks as my day-to-day planner, however it does feel like it's falling a little bit short, and I'm getting a bit itchy feet with my planning in it really. I can change up the layouts, but not a huge amount. I don't feel like I can be super creative in it because of the size, and there's also an element of when I have super busy days, I can't necessarily fit it all in the space in the weeks, and so I am feeling a little bit restricted. So jumping back into the Cousin as my main planner. This isn't set up in any way, shape or form. This is the one that I always kind of save. Like I always save setting up my main planner generally for kind of Christmas Day, Boxing Day, kind of around that time when I'm off. It's a nice little activity for a couple of hours, but the intention is to have this as my main live on my desk planner, and everything will be in here in terms of life planning, shop planning. The daily pages will probably be used for collections like they used to, and maybe some other bits and pieces. I think that's probably the element that I'm less sure about how I'm going to use it, because I don't think I'll need all of the pages for collections. So it might be a case of that there's a lot of blank pages again, which is pretty normal. There is part of me that kind of thinks, should I have just got the Cousin and not got the A6? But then I quite like the idea of just the small size of the A6 and not having, you know, a full A5 page, feeling like I need to fill it, particularly as this is going to be the first year of me trying to do a bit more kind of light journaling. Maybe next year I can merge the two. So that's a bit of a question mark on the dailies, but it's always been a bit of a question mark on the dailies. I flick back through any of my old ones and there's a lot of blank pages. It's just, yeah, that's the joy sometimes of the Cousin, is that you know that there'll be blank pages, so it's fine. I don't get too worried about it really, and it always gives me space to then go back and do pen tests, or if I just want to organize my washi and kind of do little spreads of this is all my green washi or whatever it might be. I've got the space to do it in a Cousin, and I love the weekly pages. And although there are other planners out there that give me the weeklies without the dailies, I don't want to get rid of the dailies altogether. So yeah, the Cousin just it ticks enough of the boxes, and the downsides rather are minimal. Although given the ink issues and the pen test, if you saw that video, I'm going to be a bit more restricted in this than the A6 in terms of what I can use and what I can play with in these pages from a creativity perspective if I wish to. Okay, that's enough of me rambling. That was an overview of what I'm going to be using for 2025. Like I say, there will be follow-up videos of kind of the actual setup of probably these three, to be honest, once I'm kind of fully into the swing of them. So stay tuned, they'll probably be kind of Jan, Feb time. The others either already exist or I'll be unable to share. But hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and if there's anything about these planners that you want to know more of when I do the setup video, like I say, just leave it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.